The officer in charge of Kirinya Prisons says they isolated Godfrey Diksoka after noticing his mental instability.
When we were receiving him, he was drunk, he was smelling alcohol. That is one thing. He was smelling alcohol, but then by Sunday, we thought alcohol would have been washed off. But when he now started running around and this is when we discovered that he could be having some other mental maybe complications.
But the question that went unanswered is how he found himself within the general inmate community, if he was indeed in isolation.
At the time, actually all these isolation cells seemed to be occupied. But of course, that's why he opted for a less occupied cell to minimize the risk.
Diksoka's body is full of marks, evidence that he underwent some form of torture. The other pressing question was, where did inmates get the sticks to whip him?
We discovered we had a prisoner who was walking on crutches, and unfortunately he died. So one of the crutches, he left it behind. That this is the same piece of crutch which he had used to beat him. We even confiscated it.
The head of the prison clinic also told NTV that by the time he examined Diksoka, the man needed urgent medical attention.
As I was interacting with him, he had what we call visual auditory hallucinations. Those are sounds you hear someone has told me is beating me, but we are not coordinated. So in other words, he was mentally confused.
Now, if he was examined by the prison clinic only after the beatings, how did the prison authorities know that he was mentally ill? There was no evidence that he had undergone any other health check at the prison, not even a psychiatric examination.
It's true for us, the prisoners who come, don't pass through the psychiatrist. We have prisoners who have warrants from court. And that's why when prisoners are admitted, we start them in what we call the admission ward.
Our request to talk to the accused warder was not granted on grounds that the matter is now being handled by police. But this only served to increase our doubt about the inmate's alleged health condition and how he ended up badly beaten to a point where he became blind. For example, if the inmate was indeed beaten by his fellow inmates, why did the prison authorities keep quiet about it until his relatives raised an alarm?
It's true. There was nothing like barring someone from seeing him. We allowed the visitors to come and see him, and we even explained to them what had happened. But the day he was supposed to go to court, he was still very sick.
It's been 2 weeks since the injured inmate was admitted at Kirinya Prison, and to date, the prison authorities claim that investigations to the beating is still incomplete.
Whatever the outcome of this case, the individuals or the individual involved will personally be liable.
Cases of human rights violations in detention facilities have dented the image of government agencies. This latest case is likely to reverse the prison's new efforts to inculcate a culture of zero tolerance to human rights abuses in the prisons. Diksoka's woes began after he was remanded to Kirinya Prison on 11th February over child neglect. But as things may stand now, a prison warder may have just escaped a new policy that now holds them personally accountable for injustices they mete out on prisoners. Hilary Isiga, NTV Tonight.